Hello again, this is Old Man PHP. I create PHP video tutorials for the old guys who want to learn a new skill and compete with the young crowd. In this video, which happens to be video number 73, I want to discuss let's go down, the creation of a JSON file and reading the JSON file. I think it's something that will be good to read and well, to work with, because it's like an XML file. XML is like a special file that you can have records created in XML, and then you can take that XML and send it to a bank or whatever, and then what they do is they encoded it back so it can fit into their system. Well, it's the same thing. It's a little I don't use it much because it's a lot harder, so I use JSON. The JSON, which it happens to be here, JSON, right? And I prefer that because it's so much easier to work with. JSON, is a JavaScript notation for storing and fetching data. Data is usually stored like in a like the way XML does it, but JSON is so much better, right? It is a complete language independent text format. To work with JSON data, PHP uses something called there's a qualifier that I'm going to show you in a second, called JSON underscore pretty underscore print. Let's see if we can show you here. Oh, you know what it is? It's gonna in a second. I'll be showing you how that works. So the reason why we do that is we wanted to format it nicely so we can kind of read it better. So so what we do is we use a JSON encoded function, right? And that writes the value in a JSON format, which we're doing. Where are we? Let's see. Is it coming up? Let me see. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go here. Let's do this, right? And for me to create the JSON file, I'm going to hit this button. See, give me a query string of 9. Remember I told you that the actual case command that actually takes that information, sees, oh, that's 9, and goes down the road, down the line, sees number 9, and then you get the message that's hooked up to it. I mean, I can show you. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm going to go up a little bit. On the right. It's actually below the very bottom. I kind of put it at the bottom so it's easier for me to find. So if you bear with me a second, we're going to go back to this guy here. But what I want to say, this is the reading part with the arrow. Oh, right here. See, when you do the use the switch in the case statement, right? What happens is when it sees that number 9, it goes down the line. It sees number 9. It says JSON file created, which is that's what happened. So if you go here, JSON file created, right? So let's get down there. I'm going to go hit the contact form, let it get its way there. Next time I just drag it myself. It created one already, right? And now I want to read it, right? So before we read the JSON file, let's get to this one. Okay, right here. And it's going to do the same thing as the search statement. Remember, you hit the JSON. It says, look, is it set? Yes, it's post. That's the method that we're using. Look, you hit it's a submit. Remember, all the buttons are submits. It looks at it, so oh yeah, JSON. So of course it comes here and does this stuff. It makes a variable no. That's just to clean out anything that I might have had from before. and then you create a query select with the select asterisk from the table. Let me select everyone. Then of course, remember my connect. I showed you that in the previous video, but I wonder if I still have it here. Yes, I do. Over here, it runs this. Then it tries this the PDO, because that's what we're using as the object. And if it works out fine, it just keeps going. That's about it. And now because we created this query string variable, now we're going to prepare it. Meaning that we're going to, remember this right here? Remember, right here. You created, where is it? Right here. You created this, and this became an object, right? So now you can call that object, but you also can call the methods that's in there, like execute, close, that kind of thing. This one happens to be the prepare statement. So what happens is it takes this variable, you put it in a prepare statement, it prepares it for you, then you execute it, and once it execute, it fetches this thing right here, right? That's what this is. And it says, please fetch it. You already ran this. It has that information in the buffer. And now it says, okay, please fetch it and put it into another variable called $fetch JSON, which also becomes like a table. And then, of course, don't forget, you want to close the cursor from the execution, right? From the prepare station, you want to close this up. Then now that you have this information in a table, you want to for each, you're going to use the for each because you want to go through each record. And of course, instead of writing this as a big one, and just make it into a small one. I could just say DJ if I wanted to, as DJ son, right? So now in this situation, I'm creating an array. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to be using this array to display the information, right? It's because you guys, I think I have 4 records, maybe it's 5. We'll find out in a second. Then you create here. This is you're creating an array. You're running the actual array. You're getting this information because you're going through the actual buffer, right? And what happens is you pick each item, which is the fields, record ID, first name, last name, email, blah blah blah. It goes down the line. It creates a. So this is an actual an array, an associated array, right? And later on, instead of just writing this stuff, we'll just use the whatever's associated with, and that's how you write these things out. And as like I said, JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. I wrote it here so that way you can get it. It is a lightweight format for storing and transporting data across the network. Great idea. For me, it's better than XML. And plus it's PHP too, so it's pretty good. It is a self-describing, easy to understand, just as a language independent. This can work with any language, to tell the truth. And then now the below line turns the array into a JSON format. The reason how you do that is by using this command. See, I want you to give me that array that you created, and I want you to make it into a format. And I want you to use JSON pretty print. That's just to make it pretty, as you can see, right? And in this situation, I also want you to create a file, because I want you to put it in a file. The reason why you do that is because later on you can take that file and transfer it and send it to whoever you want to send it to. And then from on their end, they'll take that file, read the information, and then decode it, okay? So you can print it out. And in this one, of course, it's going to redirect you to this part of it with the 9, which is why you saw more before. Here it goes, 9. Right here, see 9. And because you saw that, it worked out good. That's what that is. Then it stops. That's it. Now it's waiting for you. You're here. It's out there. You created it. Now you want to read it. So when you hit the read, which is over here, excuse me. See how I broke it down so you can easily get it, find it, right? And if you don't want JSON stuff, you take it out. But if you do, put it there, put it back, and put it at the bottom. I mean, whatever it is that you want to do, put it in another file. Right now we're using the one file crud.php because it calls itself, and this is why I do these little nifty little tricks. Now in this situation, because you already created the file by using the file put content, this is the actual JSON file that was created, right? And then you're going to use the encoded, which is this, all this stuff that you created before, the encoded stuff. It's going to be put in the file so that way you can read it. And in this situation, you're doing the read JSON file, right? Remember how we work this is set. Let me see what's set when I hit this one, this button right here, right? And now it takes that file that you created, before, right here. That's the file that you created, and I want you to put it in a variable. Now the JSON decoder function, I'll put it over here, is used to decode and convert a JSON object back to a PHP object. And when true, JSON object will be returned as an associated array, right? So right now you did this, you're opening it up, you put it in a variable. Now you're going to take that variable, and of course you're going to say this is a JSON object as an array. You're going to put it right back as an array. And here it goes. This is the actual command that puts it back. Anything that you encoded before, JSON underscore encode, you're going to decode it. You're going to put it into the JSON data variable. You can put it in any, you can call it whatever you want. And of course I created another variable. Make sure I put no there, because just in case you have used it before, right? You want to clean it out. You don't want to see, because it's not right here, will append to it. So then you're in this situation, you're creating a variable with the HTML. It's just a line, right? And then you're with the dot into the same variable, you're putting this behind this, right? And then when you go through this for each statement, this one keeps count. If it's less than whatever the count is, keep doing this. Plus, I told you this already, how this works. Then the $x, that what happens is it increments by 1, and then it just keeps going. So if you got like 4 records, this will do this 4 times, 5 times, and then it quits. But the 4th time, it only prints out the stuff 4 times. And of course, you got here the dot equals, meaning please append to this information that you already did before. So it appends the actual data. As you can see, JSON data x1. This is how you do it. You say username, right? Then you say, oh, password and email address. You could do this whatever you want. You can change it the way you want. If you just want to have one line, you could. It's just a way of just formatting things. And you have to go through the records, right? So if you got 4 records, you have to do it 4 times. This will do it 4 times. Once it hits 5 times, oh, that's it. No good. We're done with it. Comes over here, closes this up, right? And then it knows the actual object. That is how it's read. So if I hit this, remember we already did the creation. If I read it, boom. See, it did right here. See? It printed it out in an array. Now the reason why I did that is for you to see it, for me to see it. Doesn't matter. In the real situation, you wouldn't even do that, but you're just doing that to show you. And as you can see, you have 0, 1, how many? Oh, honey, it has 3. 1, 2, and 3 records. Because yeah, that's right. We have Ann Miller, and we got rid of her. Remember when we used the delete button? But this is what it looks like. Now, if you wanna, what I did here, where is it? Right here, it's just so you can print it out, the table. See, data, decoded data. This is the actual JSON file, right? And I decoded it, and this is what it looks like because I made it into a table. This is the JSON file. See, this is why it's important, because this particular file that you create, you give it away. You give it to whoever was requesting it. A lot of times, like when a bank asks, oh, give me all that information, you will do the JSON file. You send it over. It's secure. How they do it, they receive it, and then they make sure everything was okay, and then they decode it into whatever system that they got. I just kind of made it into a table, that's all. See, Terry Morgan, the first one is what? Terry Morgan, these are the files. In associated array, remember associated array, you have to have that, what you call the arrow. So you have the variable, which is actually what that is, and the value will be Terry. And the password, the value will be Morgan, like that. And of course, I kind of decoded it and made it into a table. So you could do so much with this. I'm just showing you how you can do it here, so that way you can use it in your own project. In reality, you wouldn't do this in a regular website that you have, unless you really want to. And plus, you will put username and passwords and make it more secure. But we're just showing you how that works, okay? So that's what that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, because I'm going to put this inside the description below. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to do it separately as a separate file. Let's go here. All right, let's copy. We're going to create a file name. That will be let's put it here. Let's do PHP. What is it? Man, I just came from my radiation earlier today, and for some reason I'm not thinking clearly. Okay, let's go right here. I'm gonna put it here. Let's see, and we're gonna call it. And by calling it, I'm doing right now. Listen, I'm copying like this. Look, I show you. I'm gonna copy it. We're gonna say JSON like that. JSON PHP. Okay. See, colorful. But when I'm gonna put it in the actual description, that goes for the rest of those other videos. I'm gonna turn it into a TXT. So in other words, I'm gonna go like this. And I'm going to turn this into a TXT. That means just a text. It's how it takes out all the colors, because it's no longer, it's just a text. And what you do is when you take it from the description, put it in an editor, and then just come back and turn it into a PHP, like that. So that would be a PHP file. See? Now let's do that for the other ones too. And now let's do the other ones. So we're here, because where are we? No, we're here. Let's do the reading. This is the reading. Where's the description? This is the reading. I forgot. I'm supposed to do this one. This is creating it. So we're gonna take this. We're gonna do the same thing. I'm going to create a file because I want them separate. I'm going to put it in here, PHP. Let's name it call it study create JSON PHP, like that. Boom, there you go. And I'll be putting this in the description, but again, I'm going to put it as a TXT, not as a PHP. You know, the reason why I do that is because you download it to your box and you want to look at it, you're not going to be able to see anything. You'll see the results, but you won't be able to see it. But if you want to see all the command and all that, we'll do it. We'll change it into a TXT. I'm going to give it to you. You know something? I'm going to give it to you both. On all of them, I'm going to give it to you as a PHP, and I'm going to give it to you as a TXT. Okay? And that's about it, basically. It's really good stuff. Really good stuff. I was thinking about some other stuff that I can add to this file, because I know you want this. You got your different columns. You got the big one. Maybe we could break down the cart part of the system itself, the actual... you know that if you hit the way I have this also set up, like these guys right here, if you kind of hit this here, these are actual images, right? So if you hit it, oh no, this one doesn't work here. What we could do is I can make it in the sense that it'll be an href, so that when you click on it like this right here, look, where are we? Like these guys, and you get this. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's something that I might do, maybe not. Maybe it's just a picture. Let's see. Let's see if we do that. Let's see who's got a picture here that's work. Let me see right here. Oh no. I could have sort of had pictures before. Let me see. I guess not. I guess I can turn these things into, so that way so you can look at it better. Let me see. If I went like this. No, it didn't do it. That's okay. Maybe it did. For some reason the editor's not letting me go through, but it doesn't matter. I'll do that anyway, so that way when you get in, you put your own pictures, you can hit it, and then the whole thing it'll show you a more close up of the image, and that's about it basically. Or you can print it to an actual file itself, like a real, where you keep the rest of your websites, or you can put it in another file and it'll open up another file with more information about. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Anyway, this is what it is. We got it all done. I think the next one we're gonna do is the insert, because I don't think I've shown you this. I probably will do this. I don't know, did I do that? Did I show you the insert, how that works? You know something, I'll probably do that next. Anyway, we reached at the bottom. I'm glad that and hopefully that you have learned a lot from this. Please just give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you need to. If you don't want to, it's okay, but at least give me that thumbs up. Until, since we did reach the end, until next time, have a good night.